Setting up the Raspberry Pi is pretty simple. We have a Raspberry Pi 4 set up on a pretty cheap case and 4-inch LCD screen that I got on Amazon. Also, to control it, we had to link a wireless keyboard and mouse. Also a pretty cheap setup. The 4-inch LCD connects with a HDMI that came with the screen right here. And that just plugs into one of the mini HDMI ports on the Raspberry Pi. To get the Raspberry Pi set up, a Raspberry Pi imager software needs to be downloaded onto a micro SD from a laptop or computer and installed on the Raspberry Pi. And then that is inserted in the bottom of the Raspberry Pi right there. And that is pretty much the gist of the setup. Now I'll go ahead and install the LCD screen and get it running. Once we've installed the LED on the Raspberry Pi, we can also insert the micro SD chip with the Noob's Raspberry Pi imager to get the system booted. We'll go ahead and insert the USB-C type power supply and the Raspberry Pi should boot up. It may take a bit of time. From there we can go ahead and use our wireless mouse to go over to the terminal. From here we will utilize instructions from MaxBoost's GitHub page to download the Python program for the GPS logger. After completing the necessary instructions laid out in MaxBoost's GitHub repository instructions, we can go ahead and test the GPS module by plugging the USB into the Raspberry Pi and using one of the following functions. As long as it works, which ours does, as I'll show you right now. So we're picking up latitude and longitude and altitude. Currently the speed is essentially reading 0, but we can initiate a little bit of speed just by moving the device around a little bit and it'll read something so that we at least know it's working. So that's pretty much the GPS setup. From here we can either use the terminal to execute the Python code, or additionally in the directory we should have a folder named after the MaxBoost Python program. You just click that and then you can click on GPS log 2, double click it, and whenever you're ready to log your data when you go for your run, we will click execute and that'll go ahead and run that.